4% of contractors ever hit 7 figures. 20% of contractors ever make it more than 5 years. Why? Is it because they don't know how to be a painter or a plumber or a builder or remodeler? No, that's not it. They're pretty good at their trade, at their craft. What sucks is how they run a business, how they manage a business. And underneath it all is the financial side of things. You're probably asking yourself, is this me? Or you're telling yourself, he's talking to me. Hopefully not the latter. But if it is you, I don't just want to leave you high and dry and feeling guilty or stressed out or wanting to quit. I want to give you some tools. Welcome back to the Success Unleashed show. My name is Garrett Bake. I'm your host. And I'm here, as you guys know, to give you the tools, the tactics, and the techniques to help you succeed in business and in life. Now, I want to ask you a question. When was the first time? No, not what you're thinking. When was the first time that you got a check or a deposit into your account that you never thought that you would get? 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 or more? What was that experience like? I'll tell you, the largest amount that I've ever received on a job was 125,000. And when that thing dropped in my bank account, I thought there was a problem because I'd never seen 6 digits in my bank account like that, right? Great feeling. You're like, man, I finally made it. Hey, look, Ma, I did it. Right? You're super proud and excited about it. And then 2 days later, or 2 weeks later, or if you're lucky, maybe even 2 months later, your account is right back where it was before. A couple $100, a couple $1,000. And you find yourself asking, where did all the money go? And I remember when that happened that I didn't have an answer to that question. Because I knew what I'd done to earn that money, right? It was a big remodel job that we'd secured. And I knew what I'd done to secure that money, to land that contract and see that money come in. But I didn't have a clear understanding of where that money was actually going. And so for me, it was 2 months later, my account was right back where it was before. Now, is that a bad thing? Well, yes. And here's why. You're not in business to make money. Let me repeat that. You are not in business to make money. You're in business to keep money. And it doesn't matter the dollars that go in if it equals the dollars that go out. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you, I am not an expert in all things finance. So don't ask me deep, dark financial questions. I don't have the answer. I do have experts that I lean on, but I don't have the answer. But this is what I do know. You don't make your money on the back end. You make your money on the front end. Now think about that. How many of you are caught in a bidding war, a price war, or as I like to call it, a race to the bottom? How little can I charge to still, in my mind, believe that I'm making money to get this job? And you're bidding against 6 other people. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. Because some of the people that you come across, hopefully not all, but some of the people that you come across see your number. They kind of look through it a little bit, might ask you a couple questions, and then ask, can you do it any cheaper? Or can you do it for this dollar amount? And inside of your mind, because you haven't justified your worth and you don't know your numbers, and you feel pressured, you say yes. Yeah, sure. If you sign the contract right now, yeah, I can do that. And you sign the contract and you feel happy because you got a deposit for a job that in the end, you're not going to make any money on. So what's the purpose? Like legitimately, what's the purpose? If you don't believe what can happen, let me give you a story. I was living in Idaho at the time, the Boise area, working with contractors up there as well. And there was a particular builder. Now this builder was like a Viking. I'm not going to say his name. Viking, long blonde hair, beard, big burly guy, nicest guy, right? And he was a home builder, building custom homes. And so he was building in this really, really nice community in the subdivision, the city called Eagle. And he's building this beautiful 2-story home with this intricate woodwork. I mean, it was magical, right? Well, he's telling me that this house, I think it was like $1.2 million or something like that, is what he was charging to build the house. Well, he gets probably, 8 weeks away from completion, right? Painting's done, flooring's in, cabinets are in. It's just like the little stuff that needs to get done. And he didn't show up for our weekly meeting. And then he didn't answer phone calls. And then it just kept escalating. And then I started getting phone calls from other clients who were working with him on the site, painters, plumbers, electricians, roofers, about them getting ghosted and them not getting paid. And then come to find out that he literally from one day to the next closed his doors and moved and left. And he left everybody, including the homeowner, high and dry. And I was thinking about this and I was like, well, I was angry, right? Because why would you do that? Like the person who's there to help you grow your business, you would just up and leave and not say a word. But what I found out a couple months later was it was the embarrassment of not having any money. You see, because it looks really cool to say, I'm building a $1.2 million home. And then behind the scenes, not have any money because of either mismanagement or not pricing right. Now, I know it was a combination of both. I don't know in what detail because, again, he hasn't spoken to me till this day. But I tell you this story because I want you to know that it's possible for you to fail if you don't figure this thing out. True, hard, raw numbers. 4% of contractors ever hit 7 figures. That's it, 4%. That's it. 20% of contractors ever make it more than 5 years. 20%. Why? Is it because they don't know how to be a painter or a plumber or a builder or remodeler? No, that's not it. They're pretty good at their trade, at their craft. What sucks is how they run a business, how they manage a business. And underneath it all is the financial side of things. You're probably asking yourself, is this me? Or you're telling yourself, he's talking to me. Hopefully not the latter. But if it is you, I don't just want to leave you high and dry and feeling guilty or stressed out or wanting to quit. I want to give you some tools. Okay? So this is the first thing. I'm going to repeat it. I already said it earlier. You don't make your money on the back end. You make your money on the front end. How do we do that? Very simply, okay? You need to know not just how much it's going to cost you in labor and materials and manpower, the 3 M's, money, material, manpower, okay? How much it's going to cost you on the front end to get a job done. You might be really good. Hey, I know how much this guy cost me an hour. I know how much, my linear feet of board is. I know how much my paint is. I know this. Okay. That's great. That's only a part of the equation. The other part, and this is where most contractors screw up, is your overhead. All of your other expenses, your vehicle insurance, your gas, your insurance, general liability, workman's comp, your office, your internet, your phones, your supplies and equipment, all of the things that go into running a business that you don't take into account when you're running a business. Now, I'm not blaming you because nobody teaches you this. When I went to school to get my contracting license, it was 40 hours plus another 5-hour law exam. Like, it was intense. You know how much they talked about this? Not one bit. They talked about make sure you have insurance in case you get sued, right? Follow all the rules or OSHA's going to come after you and fine you. That's what they talked about. They didn't talk about how to run a business. And so most contractors don't know how to run a business. When you're bidding a job, understand that yes, you're going to have the job's specific costs, but you also have the specifics of running a business. Now, you may not be able to split it up by job, but what you can do is you should have an estimate of how much it's going to cost you in a year. Then you divide it by 12. Okay. That's how much your overhead is per month. Okay. If you want to get more granular, divide that by 4. Now you know how much your overhead is per week, which means between your overhead and what you're charging on a job, you need to know what your break-even number is. Notice I didn't say profit. I said break-even, right? Where am I at zero? Because we don't want to lose money on a job. That's the first thing. And then we could talk about making money on a job. Does this make sense? Okay, are you listening right now? Your job is not to make money. Your job is to keep money. And the only way you keep more money in your bank account is you understand what all of the costs are associated with running a business, not just a job, and you make sure that those are covered. Now, for handyman, it might mean that you're paying $20 an hour for your guy, but all of your other expenses are another $25 an hour. So now you're at $45. So your break-even number is to keep that guy running and not make money, but not lose money, is $45 an hour. Which means in order for you to make money, you got to charge anywhere from $65 to $85 an hour. Does this make sense? Okay, you have to understand this. If you don't understand this, you will get in trouble if you're not in trouble right now. What do I recommend? Find an accountant who understands the contracting space. And if you happen to be close to me or not, just reach out to me. I have a couple of people I'll refer you over to. Because if you don't know your numbers, you will get in trouble. It's not an if or a might. You will get in trouble. And I don't want you to do that. Okay? So more than anything, let's focus on keeping money, not necessarily making money on the front end. Now, once you're at zero, now we can start talking about profit. Okay? How much do I want to have left over on every job? And now we can tack that on top of what you figured out zero is. So for example, your zero is $45 an hour for your guys. Cool. You want to make $65 an hour. That's $20 an hour profit per guy per day. Cool. Then set it up and know what your numbers are and know that somebody isn't going to talk you down because you know how much you need to make money, right? Not to get the job. All right. You guys know what time it is. Enough talk. If you don't know your numbers, figure them out. If you still need help, find an accountant or reach out to me. I'll help you out. I'll connect you with the right guy. But it's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go. Thanks for listening to the Success Unleashed podcast. Before we go, show some love for your favorite podcast by liking, subscribing, and leaving us a review. Until we see you again, it's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1, off you go.